At the end of our workshop, I would like to highlight the references, which are great books that I first of all used to learn more about DNS security at the beginning, which is an ongoing process. Um, you can start with a couple of books and you can join some interesting DNS related conferences, and then you can keep up to date with social media to learn more about what the experts in the DNS space are doing and what they are working on. There are mailing lists and stuff like that. But I wanted to recommend these books to you. First of all, DNS Security Management by Michael Dooley and Tim Rooney. And two great guys that I had a chance to meet personally. Um, they gave this entire workshop its structure. So they are providing a pretty good overview of what are the risks in DNS, how you can actually detect them, and how you can implement defense mechanisms against them. From a technical point of view, this book is quite new, so there aren't that many books about DNS at all compared to other technologies out there. And this one is from 2017, which is quite up to date. Another guy that I had the chance to have a quick chat here and there is Mark Jeff Torvik. He's maintaining a massive DNS infrastructure since decades, I would say. I can't remember the exact number of years, but a lot of years. And in his book, Managing Mission Critical Domains and DNS, he's explaining what are the things that he learned, what are the things that you should be aware of, and especially most of the DNS security stuff is always related to how you secure your internal things. But in his book, he highlights that DNS is a distributed database, it's an entire ecosystem. And even if you make your DNS infrastructure super secure, if your parent or your registrar or whatever else is involved um, is behaving a little bit strange or is not following some rules, or at least if you don't understand the rules completely, you can mess up your entire infrastructure. But in addition to this, he also recommends a couple of topics that you should keep in mind when it comes to a rock solid DNS infrastructure. Ron's book is my primary reference for everything that is related to DNS. You have maybe heard about other references like Cricket's DNS and Bind, but this is a book that is quite old meanwhile. Even this one here is not brand new, but it's the most up-to-date DNS book that I was able to find, that is just covering the basics of DNS itself, how you should configure it, how you should install it. It also covers security. It also covers DNSSEC in its fundamentals. It gives you some recommendations about configurations and stuff like that. And if you are interested in any little piece of DNS, how this statement or this little thing is happening and what you could do with DNS, that's the perfect book to start. Michael Lucas, he wrote this DNSSEC Mastery, which is a perfect starting point to learn more about DNSSEC. He is maintaining infrastructure since quite some time, and he has written a couple of pretty interesting books about the various topics, not only DNS related topics. And his book is a pretty good starting point to get an understanding of what DNSSEC is, what are the principles, how to implement it, how to test it, how to maintain it. So it's a pretty good one if you would like to learn more about DNSSEC. And the last one here is Building a Comprehensive IT Security Program by Jeremy Whitcup. All these, or a lot of these topics that were related to the DNS servers or the operating systems and stuff like that, and how you should process things and how you should structure your IT security program and stuff like that, and what should be your strategy, what should be part of your strategy. All these strategic thinking comes from his book. So most parts of his books are not really related to just DNS. Most of his principles can be adapted for nearly every kind of installation. And so this is highly recommended if you would like to get a better understanding of how security strategy should actually look like, how you can address that. And if you read that book, you can even adapt this to other parts of your infrastructure, not only to your DNS infrastructure. And there are much more DNS related books out there. These are the ones that I mainly used for preparing this workshop. I used a couple of other resources like conference presentations and blog posts, and if that's the case, I made a footnote on the specific slide. If you are interested in learning more about such things, I have an entire bookshelf full with DNS, DHCP, and IP address management related books, and I can guide you to the ones that are most interesting for you. Yeah, that's pretty much it. As I mentioned this at the very beginning of this workshop, this was the very first time that we actually created such an online course. And typically we are in front of customers or in front of conference people to present. So we are kind of missing the feedback of the audience. There were no questions actually. And I'm not sure if you were just falling asleep while listening to my voice for a couple of hours. So please feel free to provide any feedback about the course itself, how it is structured, what is structured, so what is actually covered, if we missed anything, if something is completely wrong, because it can happen that maybe on my slide deck there was some statement, but maybe I said something different, then this was something, some issue from me personally. So just let me know what you missed in this course. Let me know what you would like to see in the future. You will have access to this course for a specific amount of time. I think we configured it for something like a year or so. So if I just do any kind of updates of the material, you will have access to the material as well. So yeah, for now, thanks for your time. Thanks for investing this much effort into learning more about DNS and especially DNS security. And hopefully it was worth it. Thanks for your time.